excited about today's show because I am introducing a new segment into Cycle with Serafina called Never Give Up. It's been the theme of my life, and I know that it's been the theme of many people's lives, especially all the people that I meet out cycling. There's something about people who cycle, never give up. We're out there just doing it. So I'm going to start sharing these stories of these amazing people that I meet. I'm very excited with today's guest. So my very first guest on Cycle with Serafina for my Never Give Up segment is Grant. So let's go find out his story. Thank you so much for being the first guest on my Never Give Up segment. That's okay. It's exciting.
I've always been a bike rider. I guess I rode and competed and did a lot of stuff at a pretty high level with mountain bike riding throughout my whole life, I guess. Back in 2011, I had a pretty life-changing accident where I had a pretty big crash riding out at Fox Creek Bike Park, before it was even Fox Creek Bike Park, I guess. And yeah, I had a pretty big crash off of a jump that I was riding and doing. And yeah, suffered a spinal cord injury as a result and became a paraplegic.
So your life changed just like that?
Yeah, exactly. I guess just going from, a regular, able-bodied guy riding a bike and doing all those sort of things to, someone with a spinal cord injury and, loss of, use of legs and things like that. So, and I guess like a lot of people would sort of see it as like, oh, okay, they just don't walk, that type of thing. But there's, I guess, more, to it than just not walking in terms of impact to your body and other functions and things like that as well.
How old were you when this happened?
What was I, 31?
31?
So, I was 30 actually. I was turning 31 that year, so yeah.
And then to change, like for it to suddenly change, how did that feel like at the time when that happened? I mean, obviously it was,
Yeah, it's a big shock, and I guess it's the sort of thing where I guess you can, at first you question things like what if, and if I needed to change it or whatever and things like that. But I think for me, the big thing is just literally, get on with things. That was probably a big thing. Really just make peace with it and move forward, be the best version of yourself that you can be. I guess I just don't really see the point in sitting around being sad, being sad about things. Just move forward and get on with it, really. Yeah, for me, things were pretty quick. Like I sort of, probably only had like a couple of days, whereas, like a few days where I was really sort of, I guess like questioning things and just like, oh, what if I could change or whatever, but like, you just kind of work out that you can't. Well, for me, I did anyway. And I guess it was pretty quick and easy. I just really wanted to sort of go through the process of rehab and get on with normal life and get back to doing, things that I want to do. So yeah.
And so with your injury, you've lost the use of your legs completely. That's what happened.
So spinal cord injury is a pretty complex thing. I mean, I have a little bit of movement in my legs and things like that, but I don't have the ability to stand or do I guess things with my legs that I used to. I was pretty quick in and out of hospital. Like I think it was a bit over 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, like in and out of hospital and back to home and normal life kind of thing. So a lot of people take a lot longer than that. But I just really was set in sort of getting out and getting back on with things. So I'm pretty quick with that. Didn't want to be in hospital, I just wanted to be home. Going back to mountain bike riding, there was not the equipment at the time to be able to do so. So my friends from Trek, Gareth, Jason, Andrew, and all the guys that I was really close with there sort of got around me and helped to get me a hand bike for the road. So that became a new challenge, I guess. So road was something I'd not really sort of done competitively before or anything like that, but decided that was something that I wanted to sort of chase after. So that was where the things really all started for me. So
So you went onto road, and then from there you went back into doing mountain biking.
So I've done road for quite a while, and I still do now, and I enjoy it and competing like at that high level. I mean, I've been to Paralympics and I guess I've raced internationally and things like that, and had a lot of good times sort of competing there and things like that. But I guess like now through my work here at Push, adaptive mountain bike is something that I enjoy doing, from a personal level, but also something that, is deeply sort of entrenched with work and things like that, with helping other people with bikes and equipment and things. And I guess like the equipment is here now, and it is something that I can do. So I guess mountain bike is, my strong passion, and I'm fortunate to be able to get back to doing it properly, like what I was doing it before. So yeah, it's cool.
It's amazing. I've seen footage of you, of Lucy on Instagram,
Yeah.
of just out there getting air, like just. I was like, even I couldn't do that, and here you are. It's like, doing it, like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah,
like
I don't know, it's pretty funny. Like a lot of my friends laugh like when we're out riding and things like that, and they're like, "Oh man, like I don't ride down that, or I won't hit that jump." And it's pretty cool. Like the fact that the equipment is actually there now, to enable me to do that. It's not just some sort of token gesture of, that's kind of, like cool that you're out there and trying to do, like what other people do. I do things that are every bit as cool and maybe cool. I don't know, like I really think with the bike that I have now, I genuinely have like every bit as much fun. And probably more than when I did riding a normal bike.
What is it that keeps you going? And I suppose, is it something in your life as well that you've grown up having this mindset to not give up, or is it something you've learned, or what is it that...
Yeah, I think like a big thing for me for sure is, look, I don't know, like it's just no point really sitting around, being stale. I've always liked to be doing things and things like that. And I guess mum and dad sort of, parents like always sort of brought me up just to sort of, like get along with things, just whatever the case is, scrape or scratch or whatever. It's just like you just deal with it, and I guess it's just the sort of thing I can remember clearly being in hospital and just thinking, look, it's like fight or flight. Like you've got two choices. You can sit around and be sad and stale and cry about things, or you can just get on with it. And I'm not going to sit around and be sad about things or anything like that. And I think another thing, like I don't know, like it sounds probably a bit harsh and things like that, but I think I've seen before, like I guess just sort of going through life, I'd seen and met people before, perhaps like in a wheelchair, that were pretty sad and pretty stale and probably had a chip on their shoulder and, like the world's got something against them. And I just thought to myself, like I'm not going to be that person. And it's pretty funny, like a lot of people sort of see me and just like, like you're smiling, it's so good to see that you're happy. And it's just so, and it's implied that, just because I am, in a wheelchair that, I can't be happy. It's I live a life that's, like far better than, so many able-bodied people. And, I see people out and about, with no, I guess like, level of impairment or anything holding them back. And they live a pretty boring and grey life. And I don't know, I kind of laugh at that just because it's like, like you can choose to do that, but you've got nothing to stop you from doing amazing things. So, yeah, it's a choice.
What you do here at Push.
Yeah.
So Push is, I, when I came and spoke to you last week, I didn't know any of this, and so I thought, you're amazing, your story's amazing, we need to share your story. And then when you showed me, I came here and I Push, and you talked about it, so we have to share this with everybody as well. Because
cool.
You not only are inspiring yourself, but you are inspiring other people and making it, I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, able for other people to be able to do what you're doing as well. So share a little bit about Push and what you do here. Yeah,
so I guess like here at Push Mobility, we're a disability equipment supplier, but definitely with a focus around people living active lives in manual wheelchairs and things like that. But just facilitating people doing amazing things. I mean, like the adaptive bikes is a big passion of mine and something that we do a lot of, but we do lots of other sort of stuff, I guess, like right the way through, just like in terms of I guess like paddle boards and things like that, and sports chairs. I mean, there's a huge scope of different sort of stuff that we do just to help people live better lives, basically. So it's really cool. So
paddle boards, I didn't realise that either. Like, yes, you do, the whole scope of.
Yes, we have heaps of different stuff, and I guess like it's just about encouraging people to. I guess like look outside the square and see what's possible, and enabling people to be able to do that type of stuff as well. So it's awesome.
And it's across Australia. It's not just here in Adelaide.
Correct. Yeah, we have like a location here in Adelaide, then in Melbourne, as well as in Maroochydore on the Sunshine Coast as well. So, and I guess like we service people, from all around Australia. I mean, we for people internationally and stuff as well. So yeah, it's cool. So yeah.
And so what people like if they go, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing, like who can come and see you? Like who is it?
Anyone can see us. Like we work on an appointment basis, and people get in touch, and then we help them go through the process of getting what they need and getting set up and doing what they want to do really. So or doing what they maybe didn't even think was possible. So yeah.
I love that. Like it's just saying, you think that's it for you, but no, hang on. Here's what else you can do. Here's
exactly.
possibilities in life, and we're helping show that and create that for you and give you that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah.
I think when I was here last week talking to you, you said that you showed me a chair and you said that's for a 10-year-old boy who's going to come and pick it up next week or something.
Yeah, that's it. So I guess it's a really cool thing. I feel very lucky. To be able to help people. I mean, especially with the bikes and stuff. Like the joy of riding the bikes for me, is immense. Like on a personal level, but I think probably the greatest joy is sharing it with other people. Taking people out on a trial and things. For the very first time. There's a huge scope as well. It can be someone that's maybe lost what they once had and hasn't been able to ride a bike or do what they used to love. Like for the space of 10, 15 years or more. Much the same way that I was, and then you give them that gift of like, here's a piece of equipment that allows you to do this, and they ride it and it's just blown away. It's awesome. Or you can also have someone that's perhaps lived with disability all their lives and never thought that being able to go up like deep into a national park and watch a sunset like over the city was possible. They didn't ever think that they could like physically sort of get themselves to that space. It's just like, here's a piece of equipment that you can independently use to take you there. So it's cool. It's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. I see so many expressions on people's faces that you just like you help create
for sure.
For the first time, like you said, I've been able to do this now.
Yeah, it's like the type of thing where, I mean, you can be at an equipment trial and, I guess like I've seen, like right the way through, I've seen therapists crying, I've seen, participants crying and all that sort of stuff, just because, like it's incredible. Like, you're just giving something, like so special, and so meaningful to someone. So it's really, really cool. So yeah, and the thing with kids as well, like when you see kids getting bikes, it's just like, they have a disability that they've lived with like through their whole life. And then, I guess like riding a bike, especially riding a bike should be something that's part of, every kid's life. And I guess as an able-bodied child, like it generally is, but, I guess like a child living with a disability, it's incredibly hard, but when you can actually give that to them, and just allow them to sort of, just blend into, what other kids are doing.
Shall we have a look around the workshop?
Yeah, you can, for sure. Hopefully it's not a mess.
I wouldn't know, because it's like... Let's have a look.
So this is our little workspace just within here. This is kind of Mikey's domain mainly, but he's out on a job at the moment, I think, somewhere. So, but yeah, look, I guess I could do everything in here in terms of repairs, assembly of new equipment. Like I guess when we have all the bikes that come through to us, everything has to be built and put together. And then we do everything in terms of maintenance and helping with repairs and bits and pieces for both, wheelchairs, bikes, anything, all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, Mikey's pretty fond of sort of keeping a nice space, which is good because that's how I like things to be, is nice and neat and clean and as tidy as it can be.
It is the neatest, cleanest workshop I have ever seen. It's really cool. It is like something out of Sesame Street or something that you'd see on a show where it's just, everything's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know, it's not 100% perfect, but it gets used, so
it's amazing. And you build everything.
Yeah, that's it. So Mikey's pretty fond of just keeping everything nice and stuff around here. Like his drawers are always good and stuff, so when you look through, he's pretty pretty good with bits and pieces. Like everything is all in its place, neat, tidy, and having all the right gear to work on bits and pieces. It's pretty cool. So yeah,
that's what it's like. It's like an example workshop. That's how you have model homes and things, and people walk in and everything's perfect. This is what it's like. It's a perfect workshop.
Yeah, it still gets used. So like, there's a bit of a mess on the table at the moment, but it's just it's being used. So.
It's good. Yeah, no, it's like he's got everything. Because it makes it so much easier because everything's in its place, and he knows like, right, that's there.
I know, that's it. Like there's literally a couple of bikes that are out here at the second. So we've got literally just over here, like there's a road bike that's waiting for a customer to be built and put together right now. So literally, this is like a really high-end sort of bike for the road. There's frame and fork there, but literally like a box and tub of bits and pieces that are all like literally like right here for the customer, just waiting to be assembled and stuff there as well. So we've actually got one of the other bow-headed adaptive bikes back over the side over here. So there's actually going to be a new one on the shelf there, which Mikey has been putting together all meticulously, where everything is all custom painted, coloured. Just the whole thing is one of a kind essentially. So
that's awesome. It's like, and then these ones over here. What are these ones over here?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ones. One of the bikes over here, this little blue and black one is actually for a young boy waiting for collection. So he's due to pick this one up in about the next week. He's from the country, so he's got to come down and make a time with his family to pick this one up and then have training and use and operation of it there. So, but yeah, this is a pretty cool example of like a really special sort of kids adaptive bike that we do there. But this bike is really cool in the fact that it's completely modular. It can be changed as the person grows. I guess like in terms of like their height, width, everything like that. The wheel size can all be changed and stuff there. So it's really future-proof there. So, and yeah, the other bike we have behind is just like literally just another one of our more basic sort of demo bikes that we do there as well. So yeah, we've got lots of equipment for everyone. So yeah.
That's the shocks there.
Yeah, suspension on the front and everything there as well. So yeah, it's a really cool bike. So yeah.
So he'll be able to go off-roading and doing jumps and stuff maybe on it?
Yeah,
really?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the start for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Exciting.
So yeah, it's really cool. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. One thing that you want to say to people out there to just, what would be the one thing that you can say? You've got everyone listening.
Yeah, I don't know. Just get out there and get after it. I don't know. That's, I guess that's something that I often sort of find myself sort of saying is just, I just encourage people always, doesn't matter who it is, just to get out and get after it, have fun, smile, do it, make it happen. So.
And you smile a lot.
Yes.
You smile more than what I do. I'm like, it's very cool. Yeah. Never give up. Yeah.
Cool.
Never give up on life or on yourself. Awesome. Thanks, Grant.
Thanks, Serafina.
All right, and now we're going to go and check out what Lewis has to say to answer all your questions and ask Lewis. Over to you, Lewis.
Welcome to Ask Lewis with Serafina. I'm Serafina. I've got a couple of questions here that we're going to run through with the Ask Lewis segment. We've had quite a few questions come through, mostly on YouTube, but quite a few as Facebook comments as well. So let's dive straight into it. The first question that I've got, I'm just going to read it out, so bear with me. The first question is, what is the cost to upgrade cable disc brakes to hydraulic disc brakes in Australia in November 2023? Why do hydraulic disc brakes work better and last longer without needing adjustment? Very good question, Aussie Redneck Singer from YouTube. Upgrading from cable disc brakes up to hydraulic disc brakes is not a huge job, as a lot of people might think. When we're talking about hydraulic versus cable, just to give a very quick summary as to what that is, the hydraulic brake, you're pushing on a fluid as you pull the brake lever, and then with the cable operated brakes, you're actually pulling on a cable, which is stretching the lever. We'll come back in just a minute, just let someone walk in. Sorry about that. Jumping back to it, we were talking about hydraulic versus cable disc brakes. What I was quickly describing is when you pull the brake lever on a hydraulic brake, it's actually pushing a piston inside the lever that will then push the hydraulic fluid through, whereas when you're using a cable, you're pulling on a cable. So it's a little bit sort of stretchier, I suppose, when we're talking about cable brakes. So hydraulic is more powerful. The initial question that we have is, how much does it cost to upgrade to it? There's sort of a few different aspects involved in that. We have to upgrade the lever, the line, and the caliper. The caliper will also include the pads in that as well, but lever, line, and caliper. So replacing all of those parts, honestly, it's one of those piece of string sort of questions as to whether you go for this level or whether you go the top level carbon fiber stuff. I'd say you'd need to spend at least $50 per brake minimum, but I'd probably be betting on closer to about $100 per brake to get something that's noticeably upgradable. Cool, I'm going to jump on to the next question. Next question is from Chris C on YouTube, and he has asked, How often should the goop get removed and replaced / topped up when running tubeless? Second question. When running tubeless, should you carry spare tubes or some other repair kit to get you out of trouble, worst case scenario? Great question. Most manufacturers of the tubeless sealant or goop will say that you should top it up every 3 to 6 months. The range of 3 to 6 months, I would argue, is quite long. And I suppose the variables in that are if you're riding every single day and to and from work and just spending a lot of time on the bike, then the goop is washing around in there quite a lot. You might need to do it every 3 months. Whereas if you're only really riding on a Saturday or a Sunday, you might only need to do it every sort of 6 months or so. Another part of that question was replaced or topped up. I never replace. I don't take out what's already been in there. I leave all the old stuff in there and just top it up with new stuff. My reason for doing that is slowly with time it'll start to, I'm going to say, bind together and turn a little bit more yogurty rather than milky. And then sometimes, hopefully, if you were to get a big enough hole in the tyre, hopefully that big piece of yogurty material can seal up a nice big thick hole that the milky material couldn't. So I never replace, I just simply add to it. And the second part of that question was, when running tubeless, should you still carry spare tubes or some other type of repair kit to get you out of trouble, worst case scenarios? Absolutely yes. I say yes because if you are on the side of the road and you've got a massive stick or a big nail or something that's too big for the sealant to fix up, you can still put a tube in there. Yes, it's going to be messy, you'll have some goop all on your arms and it's ugly, but it'll get you home. So definitely carry a spare tube and replace, or you can put a tube in there just as you would for any other normal tube replacement. So absolutely yes is my answer to that question, Chris. Third question is are there any good gravel groups in Adelaide or resources in Adelaide for beginners? Great question. I would say ride Contour in on Hutt Street in the city, just in the CBD, the sort of the eastern side of the CBD. Ride Contour would be your best place to go to talk to about that. They organise group rides, I'm going to say at least once a week for gravel, if not possibly more, I could be wrong. But they do a nice lap of the city through the parklands. I'm going to say it's about 30 kilometres thereabouts, first thing in the morning, and you get to finish with a coffee at the end. So you get to ride around with a large group of like-minded people that are also interested in gravel riding. So they're one of the best places to go and have a look at when it comes to a community of gravel riders. So thank you, Starsh Australia on YouTube for that question. We've got one from Skipper Dutchy, again on YouTube, and he's asked, for a heavy cyclist who breaks spokes, cracks rims or breaks frames, what do you recommend? Good question. It's a difficult one to answer. A lot of bikes tend to, average rule of thumb, tend to have a weight bearing limit of about 130 kilos. As we're getting closer up to that number, the only real way that I can recommend to get around that and have stronger bikes is to get a wheel that has more spokes. When you've got more spokes, it can spread the load around across the more spokes and then obviously take some of the strain off of some of the other spokes. So stronger wheels would probably be one of the best things. He spoke about cracking rims, having a steel rim as opposed to an aluminium or a carbon fibre rim. Steel is stronger. The unfortunate trade-off for that though is that it is heavier but stronger, which is really your question. And braking frames, again, steel is stronger than aluminium or carbon fibre, so I'd strongly recommend looking down that path, Skipper Dutchy. We've also got JP, who sent in a Facebook comment, and he asked, how much does your gear cost? I'm assuming he's talking about the apparel that I have here. I did see this question coming up before, so I got my jerseys out. I've got jerseys for $125, made by an Adelaide company called Black Chrome, which are just down on Grange Road. So yeah, $125 for my jerseys. I think I do these long sleeve shirts for $45 or $50 and t-shirts for about $35 or $40 as well. So if for whatever reason you did want to grab some other some other clothes, I'm happy to help out. We've also got some pants as well for $150, the full bib short that goes all the way up over your shoulders so that they don't slip out of place, which is absolutely what I recommend. Any type of bib short that comes up over your shoulders and they don't tend to move around. Unfortunate trade-off is when you need to go to the toilet, it does take a minute longer, but at least the pants didn't slip around while you were riding along. So, oh yes, some of you will probably notice that I'm wearing a cap. One of my friends behind the camera just pointed at the cap and reminded me that I am wearing one. Today is my 1-year anniversary here at my beautiful bike shop, Recycle Bicycle Sales. So I'm very excited. I've got some balloons scattered around the shop as well, all of this fun little stuff. So I'm in a celebratory mood today because it has been 12 months in my building here. So thank you everybody for watching along. Sorry, that went off a lot quicker than I expected. That was fun.
A happy 1-year anniversary to Lewis and Recycle Bicycle Sales!
Do you want a drink?
That was so cool. Do I just drink this?
That didn't go the way we thought. That was perfect. Thank you everybody for watching. See you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.